All right, we are live. Just had to double check. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Habit Therapy. So excited to have you here today. My name is Brittney Ray. I'm your head fitness coach and co-founder of Fit and New. And today for Habit Therapy, we are going to talk about 4 exercises to relieve, low back pain or just back pain in general. And if you're new to Habit Therapy, I want to welcome you, introduce you. This is a chill place to heal. This is our weekly group coaching session or webinar. So every other week we do group coaching for our Fit and New fam. And then those alternating weeks, we come live to you to give you some great tips and action items that you can apply to your life today to create healthier habits. So this is everything from fitness, nutrition, to stress management, to just daily lifestyle things. All right, so let's get into today's habit therapy about 4 exercises for back relief. So you'll see here that I have some tools here. I have my exercise ball and some dumbbells. Don't let that discourage you. You do not necessarily need these equipment or this equipment in order to perform these exercises. But if you have it, great. You'll now learn how to use them. So the main thing to know about core and back, the connection between the two is your core informs your performance. So if you have a weak core, most likely when it comes to any type of strength training or stabilization or even balance type of exercises, it's going to impact that negatively. So it's important to think of your core as the central center for just essentially what it takes to perform better and with better form. When we're talking about everyday activities or just movements or even stabilization type of things such as sitting in a chair, your core has a big part of that too, plays a big part in that. So when we're sitting in a chair and we have a weak core, which turns into weak posture, you are impacting that spinal cord, changing how it should be in that nice neutral position. And you're kind of creating that new form of that spinal cord. But we want to try to train our body and our muscles to have that nice neutral form that it should have, because if you don't, you might start to feel some pain or discomfort in your hips, which can stem into pain and discomfort in the knees, ankles, and so on. So remember that everything is connected, but I would say most of our issues stems from our core. So if there's anything that you can take away from this session today, it's your core informs how you perform. But for daily activities, you might experience low back pain, not only because of a weak core. It also has a big part of your hips. So if you have limited hip mobility due to inactivity, so sitting for long periods of time, or due to overactive hips, so doing something in the same type of plane or motion for long periods of time, whether it be a lot of walking, running, and never really working on more dynamic movements, then that can also create some core issues. So the exercises that I'm going to show you today are going to be a combination of core stability exercises and hip mobility exercises. And I hope these are things that you feel empowered to add into your workout starting today. You don't have to wait for this. You don't need a trainer for this. You don't need equipment. So either you're going to have excuses or results. Today, I want to empower you to get results by implementing these exercises. So let's start with the most basic one that everyone is pretty familiar with. That's bird dog. So you could come to your mat with your knees right underneath your hips, hands right underneath shoulders. And then right away, you want to make sure that you have a nice tabletop position starting from your neck all the way to your hips, meaning everything is nice and flat across.
and then engage that core. So I always say kind of draw your belly button into your spine, but really it's just flexing those core muscles, that same feeling that you get when you cough. So if you want to cough, you could feel those muscles contract. I want you to freeze that feeling because it's really kind of expanding that diaphragm. So we're going to start on all fours and we're going to extend the opposite arm with the opposite leg and then bring it back in and alternate to the other side. So as you see here, you are eliminating that stability. So it requires for you to activate that core to help keep you balanced. And then plus you're activating that glute, which in turn is also activating that lower back. So it's helping with strengthening those muscles there. I recommend doing about 12 of these, or you could do 30 seconds alternating, 12 on each side. And the main thing is just to squeeze and keep that form. I'm always saying quality over quantity. So if you feel that as you're repeating the reps, you're starting to lose that form, then just stop and reset. Make sure you have that good form, core contracted, and go right back into it. Okay, so that's the first exercise, bird dog. Then we're going to flip it over and come to our backs. And whenever you are in a supine position where your back is flat to your mat, you want to do what I call a pelvic tilt. So you're going to lift up the hips, round that back out to where now it's already touching the ground, and then slowly press the low back into that ground. So that way you're eliminating that gap there, and then you're providing a more stable base for that back. So this is a nice back stabilization exercise, especially if you cannot manage too much weight on your spine. I would recommend always starting with back stabilization exercises when you're working with your core. So from here, we have our back flat, and we are going to just simply lift one leg up and lower it back down. One after another. You're just tapping your heels down and you're keeping that core contracted. So when I lift that leg up, I'm really pressing everything into my spine into my mat. Good. Releasing that breath and just alternating. Same, I would do about 12 reps here, 30 to 40 seconds, just alternating, and you're gonna feel that core working. If you want to attack the lower half of the core, which is the most stubborn part, then you could just simply extend those legs out. I like to put my hands behind my head to help keep my torso flat, and straight leg lifts here. So now we're getting our entire core activated. Be sure to breathe, synchronizing your breath with your movement. Inhale, exhale. Keeping that core engaged. Good. Okay, since we are here, I will show you the next best exercise, if not the best exercise for building up your core strength and eliminating back pain. So again, all of these exercises are going to help strengthen that core, bring mobility to the hips, so you could release any tension that's traveling to the back or that's kind of stored in that back. Now, these are dead bugs, and if you're a client of ours, you know that I love doing dead bugs. This is a great go-to core exercise, no matter your fitness level. So again, you want to do that pelvic tilt to flatten that back, and then bring your legs into a 90-degree angle, both legs, so those knees right over those hips. And you can do this with or without the ball, but the ball definitely takes it up a notch. Then you're going to bring the ball to the knees and then place both hands with those arms straight right at the top, or you could do knife hands here, whichever works. Flex those feet, keep that back pressed into the mat, and extend the opposite leg with the opposite arm, slow and controlled. I like to count it for 3, going in both directions, and then switch. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The biggest challenge here is keeping that core engaged and back flat. And you'll feel that activation and that core. It might make you a little shaky, that's okay. And these are burners. I typically like to do these for a minute. That way you can set a timer. You don't have to focus so much on your count, and you can put that focus more on your form. You're just alternating. Now, say you do not have a exercise ball. No problem, Bobby. We are going to do it with 2 thumbs up. Legs are the same, alternating slow and controlled. Breathe it out, come back in. Good. You get the same benefit and effect of it. Releasing that. This is a great mind-body exercise as well. Good. All right. 2 thumbs up for dead bugs. Okay. For the next one, we are going to take it to a side plank. Bring that later. And actually, I will bring one just in case you want to see the advanced version. So a side plank, we're working those obliques. Now we're talking about building up that core where we don't want to just focus on the center. Our obliques is all part of that core, keeping everything together, helping keep that spine nice and straight too. It wraps around to the back as well. So that's going to have a direct impact in relieving back relief or back pain. So first, there's multiple ways that you could do a side plank. One, you're always going to have your elbow right underneath your shoulder, or you can come up into a full arm side plank. I prefer elbow plank. Second, you can either have your knees bent here and use that bottom knee as your kickstand to lift you up, or more advanced, you can come all the way up here. You can have those feet stacked, staggered, or you could kickstand it with just one knee bent underneath and here. So the first option is going to be the more advanced version. So for demonstration purposes, I'm going to put that here. I'm going to do option 3 where that knee is bent and I'm lifting here. So with the side plank, you can just hold, or again, if you're here, you're holding. Or if you want to add some movement to it, you can do reach throughs where you're coming up and opening one after another. Breathe it out. To take it up even more, I'll show with the weight, you could grab, I would say anywhere between like a 3 and 8 pound weight. And I'll change it here. You reach through with that weight and open up, bringing that weight right above that shoulder. And breathe. Yeah, so you'll feel that immediately, those obliques activating. And you always want to do the same amount that you've done on one side, whether you're timing yourself or you're doing a number of reps. Usually 8 to 10 is a good amount. You always want to do the same on the other side to balance it out, okay? So side planks, easy peasy. And then we're going to take it into the most common core exercise, which is just a standard plank. So same here, you can either be in a full arm plank here, everything nice and straight from your neck to your butt, or you can take it down to an elbow plank here. Make sure everything's nice and straight all the way through here. With the plank, you want to make sure you're not taking your head into a turtle shell. So lengthen that neck, have your gaze kind of down and out. And to add to it, to where it's challenging more of your core, just do a slight shift from the balls of your feet to your tippy toes. And you'll feel with just that little shift that it's now going from attacking here to all the way here. Just that slight little shift from the balls of your feet to your tippy toes. I suggest, as far as time for a plank, see how long you can hold it. So do it until fatigue. That way you could record that and then challenge yourself to beat it every single time.
The pinnacle of planks is 2 minutes. So if you get to the point to where you can hold a plank, especially an elbow plank, for 2 minutes, that tells you that one, your core is strong, and two, you could probably handle more weight bearing exercises, especially like overhead exercises or weighted squats. If you are already doing weighted squats or like heavy weightlifting, and you're unable to hold a plank anywhere between 1 minute to 2 minutes, then I would really put more focus on building up your core before increasing your weight, because that's how we keep away from injuring ourselves. So far I've gone over bird dog. We did the heel taps. We also did dead bug, and then side plank and your standard plank. So these are all great exercises to build up that core strength, bring some mobility to the hips, and in order to help relieve any back pain. And there's one more that I forgot. So when we're talking about hip mobility, the last one would be bridges. So again, coming to a nice flat back, do that pelvic tilt to eliminate that gap. Have your feet lined up right underneath or your heels lined up right underneath your knees. And you're lifting up into a bridge and coming back down to that start position. You just repeat this anywhere between 8 to 12 reps, or you can do it timed. If you want to take this up a notch, you can take it up and do single leg. Alternating here, you could stop in the middle, or you could just keep it up. But that movement here of bridging from down to up is helping with the hip mobility. Your core is getting activated. You're activating those quads, hamstrings. It's great. You can even add arms to it by grabbing a weight and pressing overhead, or you can bring, let's see, up, working a little bit more of the shoulders here, or even adding more core to it with the shoulders. This one's great. The single leg bridge is great for your hamstring. So there's many different ways that you can remix it. Find your level, master that, and then advance to the next one. But again, this is what it takes. A body in motion stays in motion. So find whatever exercise you're most comfortable with starting with, build off of that with the other ones that I shared with you today, and drop in the comments how it was, how you feel, your biggest takeaways from this video, and like it if you love it. Thank you so much for joining me for this habit therapy. I will catch you guys next Wednesday. Peace.